Recently, I watched two pilots of two very different shows back to back, the DuckTales reboot and Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Needless to say, I think DuckTales was a better pilot. And while I never expected a pilot to be the show's finest, DuckTales delivered an amazing first episode. And this video is going to be detailing why it succeeds and how Mario fails.
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg.
The entire first episode, DT, devoted entirely to setting up characters and conflicts. In the first 5 minutes alone, it sets up the triplets' personalities, Donald's role as a father figure, Scrooge being this once big-time adventurer, now bored with his life, and the falling out between Scrooge and Donald. All flow naturally, gives a lot of characters, and establishes central conflicts in the show. Mario Brothers doesn't do that. Mario's a very hard thing to adapt into other mediums for one reason. Very little character to work with. Mario spends most of the episode just making comments about Italian food. Luigi occasionally gets scared, Toad is annoying, and Peach, well, she's there, I guess. While I do give credit that this is where Luigi's most endearing trait, cowardice, got its start, it really doesn't add to anything. Why is this a problem? Because I can't care about them, that's why. Both DuckTales and Mario Brothers are at their heart fun, lighthearted adventure comedies that work best that way. In a situation where your characters are going to be in life or death situations on a regular basis, you need to set up interesting characters. Even the original DuckTales, where the triplets weren't the most interesting, still have fun characters to work with. Mario Brothers doesn't have fun or interesting characters and are mostly one note, so investment is incredibly low. The DuckTales reboot puts character relationships to the forefront, where the entire first episode is setting them up and the follow-up is developing them. The second episode is full of character building. Webby's apprehension to lie to her grandma, Huey helping her, Dewey wanting to go on an adventure, and Scrooge learning how to care for the kids, and Donald being separated from his kids, and gives a lot of dynamic about him being a single dad.
Him.
The boys! Why you get my head like that? I'm gonna kill him!
Who would win Best Single Dad, Goofy or Donald Duck? Fight! DuckTales made the smart move of having 2 episodes be its pilot, one dedicated to setting up the show and the other one into the formula the show would follow. This leads to effective pacing and high stakes. Speaking of which, the first episode of the Super Show is cut up with bookends of unconnected live-action segments. It doesn't help there being 2 separate theme songs, one for live-action, and one for the cartoon, cutting up more time. This is a problem because it gives an unbalanced time to work out a conflict for an episode. As such, the biggest problem with the Super Show is how rushed it is. The concept of Super Show is that the Mario Bros. Save Princess Toadstool from King Koopa and traversing their ways back to Mushroom Kingdom and go home to Brooklyn. And that one sentence is all the backstory we get in under 1 minute. All said by Mario in his internal monologue. I am not kidding.
Me and my brother Luigi had just rescued Princess Toadstool from King Koopa, and we're looking for the magic that would set her kingdom free and get us home to Brooklyn.
Then we immediately get thrown into Toad being stolen by Birdo, with no other setup for characters, and the pacing never slows down from here. Every moment is filled with loud sound effects, music, and lame jokes. There's no breather, and as such, characters is almost non-existent. And because there's no character, and every conflict that shows up gets resolved immediately, any stakes or investment is completely gone. If they don't get Toad back from Birdo, what happens? Nothing. Stakes is a big problem with Mario adaptations in general, as in lack thereof. The movie has none because the main conflict has little consequences. Even with the cartoon and Koopa being there, he's dealt with so easily you kind of forget he's even, a thing. The only ones I could think that probably set up the stakes was the anime and Nintendo Power comic. And even then, the characters in the anime aren't really there either in the comic. Nah, I can't complain about that one. That one's just fun and can. The DuckTales reboot main and character conflicts are interwoven with each other. The triplets being troublemakers and Scrooge wanting adventure, with Donald being an overprotective dad, all tied together. Family is the central theme of the show, and relationships of it are constantly tested and developed. This scene with Dewey arguing with Scrooge over him being treated as an adventurer is both suspenseful and effective, because it also involves Donald trying to protect him from lava. So time is of the essence, and because it's a genuine character moment and development to lead to. It's not just, will Donald save Dewey, it's also, will Dewey and Scrooge have an understanding. It's both large-scale conflict and personal one at that. The pilot works so well because character motives and personalities and the larger-than-life scale conflicts directly work off each other. You can't care about one without the other, so it does its best to intertwine the two. Another great scene is Donald talking about the good times he's had with his boys and how he misses them, and one of the villain's henchmen stabs the table. This sets up both being a dangerous job, Donald being out of place, yet doing it all for his kids. All of that makes him a more compelling character. Super Show, the main conflict is that Birdo lost her son and mistook Toad for him. This is why the son is the most endearing character and you care about what happens to him. Because it's a little baby that lost his mom. It's tied to conflict and it's personal one at that. And finally, there is no conflict in Super Show. It's so minuscule and non-effective, it really doesn't matter. And that's a big deal for your first episode and the introduction to the show for many people. For a pilot, you kind of want to show off your best to impress and engage viewers. Sure, there's advice that you shouldn't have a concept pilot where it's just explain the concept and you don't get an idea what a normal episode would look like. But a pilot for an adventure comedy should still be a big adventure. DuckTales pilot from the 80s was finding treasure from a map to a mountain fortress in an exotic location they've never been before and racing to get treasure while going against a villain in a collapsing tower. The 2017 pilot is about discovering the upside down Atlantis while Donald unknowingly helps with bad guys throughout and getting used for ransom. Super Show's pilot is about a grandma mistaking Toad for her son and old lady jokes. Yeah, it's kind of a problem if you're going to be an adventure comedy. There's no conflict in Super Mario Bros. Super Show. And fuck whoever thought of that name, it is a mouthful. God. Creating a pilot is hard. Setting up characters, tone, and formula while still trying to be a standalone story is hard. I understand that. But if you want that pilot to go anywhere, you gotta try your hardest to make it worthwhile watch. Or else you won't have an audience for the second episode. This was just a long form rant to say you like DuckTales, wasn't it? I like DuckTales. This scene with Dewey arguing, oh, I really hope that's the right name, I'm going to be very upset. Okay, Wes, good.